All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It is yours truly, Dave here, the Real Music Observer, doing what I do, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you, and just like me. Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey Buckingham, and Mick Jagger. If you've been following along, Mick Jagger had surgery the other day to replace a faulty heart valve. Jagger is 75 years old, and prior to the Rolling Stones tour here in the United States, the band has to qualify for what's known in the business as touring insurance. And they get routine physicals, and sometimes those physicals reveal problems. In the case of Mick Jagger, it revealed that he had an issue with a faulty heart valve. That's a really interesting thing, because in order to qualify for this touring insurance, you have to be healthy and, get a clean bill of health. And hopefully Mick Jagger will be able to do that. 75 years old, it's just amazing that the guy has the energy that he has. Now, let's, rewind the tape back to when Fleetwood Mac said sayonara to Lindsey Buckingham for smirking or something. I don't really even know what the reason was, but essentially they said bye to Lindsey Buckingham. Now, if they had all just, made up and said, let's just go on tour with Lindsey, and Lindsey's willing to drop what he's doing and come on board over here, they would have also had to qualify for the same type of touring insurance that the Rolling Stones qualified for. Now, somebody pointed out to me that maybe on a smaller scale tour, like Lindsey went out on the road on his own, maybe he didn't have to go through that particular, process. Whereas in Fleetwood Mac, it's a bigger tour. There's bigger money involved. You got promoters, you got venues, you got advertisers. So they probably said, hey, you got to go through this in order to get the touring insurance in case something happens. The insurance basically kicks in and pays for all the vendors, and, nobody loses their shirt. I wonder if Buckingham, who was kicked out of the band, if he had stayed, if he would have had that routine physical, which would have revealed those issues, and possibly not going through what he went through, or at least got a bigger head start on it. And, I don't know. It's a lot of hypotheticals here, but it does raise the question that the timeline of events with Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey Buckingham, and how they treated him certainly contributed to his problems. And if you remember, in one interview, Lindsey said that he had a visceral reaction to what happened to him for a couple of months, I think he said. For a couple of months, I had kind of a visceral reaction. Meaning he was ticked off, that this was not something that he was expecting. And most experts, and even just casual people like myself, would agree that it certainly contributed, or could have contributed, to the stress that led to his heart problems. Could have. Not saying it definitely did, but my first visceral reaction, personally, when I heard about this was, man, these guys stressed out Buckingham so much that here we are. He's recovering from open heart surgery as we speak. Just a little food for thought. The Mick Jagger thing, to me, was illustrative, and I've got to give a shout out to Ben. Ben's kind of one of my research guys, and he pointed this out to me. And I got to tell you, it's kind of brilliant stuff to know that these guys who have to go on these large-scale tours all have to kind of have a checkup, which makes sense, because if you want the insurance to go on tour, you need to be healthy. And Lindsey Buckingham could have gotten screened, and we could have found the problem before the visceral reaction kicked in that he had after being booted from the band. All of these things just, again, sort of add more fuel to this fire for certain Fleetwood Mac fans who still feel as though Lindsey Buckingham really got the short end of the stick here in such a big way. And, you know, you'd like to celebrate things like a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction or, you know, touring Australia, which I think is really just to piggyback on the idea that you've got Neil Finn in your band now. But it's hard to do that. As a rock fan, it's hard to do that knowing that Lindsey Buckingham is sidelined and may never even sing again. That's just me. That's just my opinion, and that's why I do this channel. So there you go. Thanks again to Ben, who came up with some of the intel for that, and I will be back soon to talk about other things. See you then.